Hello and welcome to a new video. In today's video we're going to take a look yet again at Spidops. So this Pokemon got released yesterday and I was finally able to get a good IV version of this Pokemon as well. So I built yet another one. I spent I think a total of 500 rare candy on this Pokemon. Don't do that at home. But also, today we are not going to have the standard moveset. We are going to run counter. Why counter? Because this meta that we are playing in right now is full of normal type Pokemon and rock type Pokemon, and I want to counter them. And I really want to counter them with a counter Spidops. And it comes here the Scissor, where we are going to do some sort of damage against as well. We're going to be able to go for a Rock Tomb. We will be able to, with that, get the shield from the opponent as well, and get a little bit of an advantage. Spidops gonna go down after this one, but Spidops did its job, getting out the Scissor, doing a lot of damage against it, and still getting a shield. And I nearly even reached another charge move, but the opponent decides to go for their own one, and yeah, that's going to allow them to knock us out. In comes Talonflame. They go swap out back into their Gyarados, and I'm going to try to just fully farm them down with my Talonflame, because I'm fairly certain I'm going to be able to do that. Actually, I can swap out also into the Lantern to play it a little bit safer, just in case they would get to another Aqua Tail. Now, my Talonflame is loaded with energy, and we have to see what they have in the back. It's going to be a Swine, a Pokemon that is weak to all three of our fast moves on this team. We have Water Gun, we have Incinerate, and we have Counter. And so they decided to go for a charge move, and I'm totally alright with that, because we still have our Talonflame. I think we are one fast move away from going for a charge move there, and we are gonna swap out of here to go for the fast move against the Scissor, win the first battle. Moving on, in Clodsire, that is a totally fine lead for us. We're going to have access to the fast move of Water Gun, doing some super effective damage, as well as we're going to be able to reach the Surf quite fast as well. And with that, we're going to pressure the opponent non-stop. And as you see as well, the opponent to move Go, which means they even are in range for Lunge plus Counter. Earthquake is coming through and they all swap out into their Spiritomb. I don't have a good answer for Spiritomb on this team, to the point where I just should mostly just stay in here and just play the matchup out. Spiritomb is going to be a very nice neutral Pokemon. I actually decided to go into my Spidops, because I was thinking it's the worst Pokemon to face the Clodsire with, and I can still take a hit, and I still might be able to reach a lunge. It would have been here better to have Shadow Claw, of course, but I'm going to be able to drop the opponent's attack by one stage, which I guess is also kind of handy. Getting the opponent super low, they swap out into the Scissor, forcing us, or allowing us to go into our Talonflame, which is going to two-shot them with two fast moves here. As they try to reach a 9-slash, I can let the move go. I can go for the farm down, or even get charge move against the Clodsire, and we should be fine against the Spiritomb now as well, as we have a lot of fast move pressure left, as we will see here as well. One Incinerate is all it takes. And we can move on. Charizard lead. Of course, a perfect lead for us. Let's hop into the cracks there. I don't have the best answers, and so I decided to stay in for a tiny bit. I am going to be able to go for a charge move here first, and this is going to be the Surf. I get some damage in, and I'm going to allow them to go for a charge move here, but I decided to use a shield last second. Just to have a safe play even against the Charizard, and I swap out into my Spidops. Spidops can take a Stone Edge easily, but also I can still invest a shield and then go for a Rock Tomb against the Charizard. That's what I thought. In camps the Charizard before I was able to farm them down here, which is quite unfortunate. I should have now in hindsight let the Stone Edge go through most likely, but we're going to be able to get a shield from the opponent anyway, which is alright. Like this, they're going to be forced to go for our Blast Burn in order to knock us out. Anything else is not going to be enough here, and we can go into our Lantern in order to get a ton of energy, just go for the full farm down. All charge moves are going to be resisted and debuffed at this point, so even here the Air Cutter is barely doing anything. They're going to get the attack boost, they swap out here into the Ferrothorn, which we can retaliate with a Talonflame. At least that's what you thought, but actually the opponent is going to run Thunder, because they're running the Shadow Talonflame with pretty bad IVs. They're going to knock me out here, and this is going to be very close now. I have two Surfs stored for the opponent's Quagsire here. The first one's coming through. Is this going to be enough to knock them out? We will find out here shortly. We're going to be able to go for another charge move, and yes, we're going to be able to knock them out, because they're not going to be able to outspeed us, and the Charizard as well is not going to get to a Blast Burn at a time, and with that we can move on to the next opponent. We will face the Guzzlord, but luckily we're going to have counter still on our Spidops, which means we're going to have still a very solid matchup for later on. And I'm going to be able to force some shields here early on with my Talonflame going for those flies. I think I might even be able to still survive another Brutal Swing from the opponent from this range. Even though my IVs are quite bad, Brutal Swing is not the strongest move. Guzzlord is not known for the high attack stat or anything like this. And yes, we survive with 1 HP, allowing us to force even another shield. But they swap out into the Charger Bug instead, which can take this Surf a bit better. And I actually decide to keep my Talonflame alive there. instead of, yeah, like basically I force myself into this matchup, or lock myself into this matchup, but I kind of want to keep the Talonflame alive just in case I might need to catch a move on it, for example. I don't want to give the opponent free energy either. And so they're going to decide to go down here. They go back into the Guzzlord. I hope they can still get out of this matchup with maybe a charge move start or something like this. But they go for their Brutal Swing here. It does a lot of damage. I can keep the Surf, and I can go into my Spidops as they reveal the Talonflame in the back. There's nothing I can do here anymore. I'm just getting hardballed here left, right, and center. Horrible lead, horrible face-up, horrible closer for us, as the Rock Tomb would have knocked them out, but sadly, they are going to be able to still reach yet another charge move afterwards. Flame Charge is coming through. I'm gonna try my best to go for the Surf here, but I don't have even any charge move start on the other one, so even if I let the move go here, I have no chance of winning this battle, as Guzzlord still existed there. And that's fine, you're sometimes just gonna get hardwalled. But you know what's funny? I am not the only one who thought about counter apparently on the Spidops. I did think that this would be very unique and nobody would else gonna go for that one, but here this player decided to go for the same play, going for counter Spidops. Yeah, counter is going to be, generally speaking, the worst move on this Pokemon, but I guess in this meta it can be quite nice. Again, you're going to be able to counter those Rock-type Pokemon, you're going to be able to counter those Normal-type Pokemon, but to be fair, now in hindsight, I do think that Bug Bite would have been the smarter play. Bug Bite is a stab move on this Pokemon. It is the same energy generation, just a little bit more damage compared to the counter in neutral scenarios. I think this would have been the better move to go for Bug Bite. But yeah, you're still going to be able to hit, for example, like normal type Pokemon. Just not for super effective damage, but still for very solid damage. As you all see here, we are going to have the charge move coming through. This is going to be now the Surf against the opponent's Drifblim. And in comes our own Talonflame, but I make a bit of a mistake here. I think I go for the Flame Charge, hoping that I can just go for the full farm down. But I actually make a big mistake here, I think even. What we see here is that I decide to go for the shield. And I think what I make as a mistake is I decided to go for the full farm down here, and I should have went for a charge move. If I went for the charge move there, I would have been able to still survive some counters from the opponent as well, and I would have been able to get to yet another Incinerate against that Spidops, and with a boost, I'm fairly certain it would have been enough to knock them out or put them into the water gun range. So I could have definitely won this battle if I just played it better. I could have even went for Flame Charge against Drapion, so that was a mistake on me. Next up, Greninja. That's going to be an alright matchup. It's actually not the best matchup because we're not running Spark on our, what's called on our Lantern. Spark is an alright move, but we kind of want to have Water Gun just to deal with those ground-type Pokemon a little bit better. And as you see here as well, they're going to go for the Night/Spam. As we can reach a Surf, not great timing from me. They got a free fast move in here. I was trying my best to kind of deny that, but yeah, I guess I went for one over. In comes though our Spidops, and in comes the opponent's Mandibuzz. As we will have here now neutral fast move damage, we're going to have the Rock Tomb coming through doing some solid damage, to be fair. And we can use a shield here against the Aerial Ace. Aerial Ace is going to do some super effective damage against us, but I'm not really too worried about it. And I actually reach another one here in time, and I'm actually going to be fine to take that one. And with the debuff, it doesn't even two-shot us here, and we can try our best to catch the next move onto our Lantern, which works out beautifully, as now we have a ton of potential charge move pressure still left, and we're gonna get out the Greninja here as well, which we would be able to now counter down with our Spidops, which is kind of funny. Again, I could see that even Bug Bite would have had some play there. We're going to use a shield coming up here as well. This is going to be the Night Slash, of course, from the opponent. They get the double boost, but I go for the full farm. It was a bit risky, but it worked out at the end. And let's see what they have on the back here. They're going to reveal that they have a Talonflame here. I can go for one charge move to drop the opponent's attack before they hit the Incinerate. And now they're going to try to catch the move. It doesn't work out. I can go into my own Talonflame. I still have my Spidops stored there with my charge move. And I will be able to take any kind of hit here. Dark Pulse is not going to be enough. I can go for the Fly straight away. This puts them guaranteed into the Rock Tomb range. So like, yeah, Rock Tomb, I think that's around like 80 or 90% of the opponent's health. I don't think it actually knocks them out straight away. But at this point, it easily is going to be able to knock them out. And so Flame Charge is coming through here. Rock Tomb is going to allow us to get a DKO against the opponent. And we can move on to the next one here. Well, let's see who we're going to have. We're going to have a Drifblim here. Drifblim is going to be alright for us. Drifblim is going to be a Pokemon that we are going to be able to deal with our lead, but they're going to sub out into the Wigglytuff. And I actually didn't really realize on how bad this matchup is as a Shadow Talonflame. The normal Talonflame is quite a bit better because it can take a Swift quite easily, but the Shadow one cannot. And as you see as well, the opponent still gets another move in time. That was mostly because they stopped so late. And we are forced to use 2 shields. And this was not ideally played. Absolutely not. I should have just went for my Fly after 4 fast moves total. but I didn't, and that is going to be such a big issue because it could even bleed into the later matchups here, as we're going to try to hit the fly against the opponent. Show went for double flame charge as well. There was no point of actually going for the fly. Doesn't really matter at the end of the day, but here I have to try to reach the Thunderbolt in time. The stop out into the third, I go up to the Thunderbolt, and now I have at least counter still against this Pokemon with our Spidops. In comes the Swift. It's not going to be able to two-shot us, especially because we have now the better IV variant, which means as well that I'm going to be able to take this hit from the opponent. And it's looking that we should be able to win this battle here, as we have the charge move coming through. But I make yet another mistake here, as we will see. I gotta go for the full farm down, that is fine. But I could have stopped out here already into my Lantern. I was a bit too late there. And now I am going to get debuff from the opponent. And this will allow them to survive a Thunderbolt from us, which makes it all a bit more awkward. If they have a Shadow Ball, I might lose this battle. As you're going to see as well, I would need to reach another Surf. In comes the charge move, and what we see here is Icy Wind, which means they're very likely not even running Shadow Ball, which means we're going to be able to win this battle. They're very likely had a double coverage moveset there, which was quite fortunate for us because they have Icy Wind and most likely Mystical Fire, two moves that are going to be resisted on the Lantern. We were quite in a lucky place there. We see the Merchant coming through, and they just go to the Togekiss. It could be the team that I showcased before as well, which is going to be the Magnezone, Togekiss, as well as Altaria. So that is kind of what I need to prepare for, and I see already my team kind of loses hard against it. And so far, two of the losses that we had were definitely battles that I show one if I played it better. One also was, I think, kind of impossible. So let's see how this battle is going to go here. We're going to have the Talonflame coming in. I'll try to get as much energy as possible. Luckily, we're going to be able to do that before they get to another move. They swap out into the Altaria. It is the team that I predicted. It is the team that I showcased before, and I had a lot of success with as well. So yeah, not too surprised there. We're going to try to catch the move because they're all resisted, but it doesn't work out. In comes the Magnezone. I am going to use a shield here, and I'm going to be forced to go for the full farm run against the opponent in order to have a chance of winning this. But they get the attack drop straight away. And this is so bad for us now, because now Thunderbolt is barely doing anything. But I have still like a Fly Sword actually on my other Pokemon, so I'm kind of alright here, hopefully. I'm going to stop out of here. I'm going to go for an extra fast move, go for the fly, force them to very likely go for their charge move straight away. I should need only one more fast move to go for another fly. But yeah, they're going to go for their charge move here in time. I still have a chance, but again, actually having the debuff onto me kind of maybe lose me the battle. I have to go for a Thunderbolt most likely. I actually go for the Surf, hoping this is going to be enough. Is it going to be enough to win the battle here? It is, and we can move on to the next opponent, where we will face a Stunfisk. This is going to be an alright matchup for us. We have a water damage that's going to add up. They're going to have the Mud Steps, which are going, Mud Bombs, which are going to add up as well after a while. Mud Bomb is coming through, doing some solid amount of damage, but I can go for the Surf and basically by fast move alone put them already into the range that we are in right now. And now we can go for even the catch if I wanted to, but I decided to use a shield here instead and just keep the alignment. If I caught the move, would have been actually way better, because I would have had a Pokemon that can resist it. Should have done this definitely, but we see here the Fortress coming in next. We're going to have a very good answer against as well, and I hope I can force a shield from the opponent here with a Surf. Hopefully I can reach another Surf in time, but they throw the charge move, forcing me to no shield and knocking me out in the meantime basically here as well with it. I can go for the Talonflame swap, and they swap on into their own Talonflame. How am I going to be able to win this battle? I am not too sure. I'm going to try my best to go for the fast move spam against them. I go for the Flame Charge, hoping that my Incinerate damage that I get in against them is enough to knock them out here. Flame Charge is coming through from the opponent as well. I know two more fast moves and they're going to get to the move, and so I'm going to catch the move here onto my Spidops. Spidops will be able to take that hit here from the opponent. Fly is coming through, survives with 1 HP, and we can get some counter damage in, which now perfectly puts them into range for the full farm down of our Talonflame, and Shadow Talonflame is going to be able to still win this impossible matchup with two flies here back to back. This is such an amazing battle. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I will see you then. Bye bye.